All right. Welcome to DraftNerds Podcast. As you can see, I got a new host of friends here with me, and we're excited to bring a new flavor, a new style, new energy. DraftNerds Podcast. You guys know me. If you've been following me on Spaces, on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, YouTube, covering the Senior Bowl, covering college football. You know me. But now, get to know my team because an MVP is not as good without his team. And I want to start with my guy, Jay, to my right. Jay, tell them who you are, what you bring into the show.
Hey guys, this is Jay Robbins. I'm a writer for thebluestable.com. I'm a diehard Colts fan, in case you can't tell from my hat in the background behind me. I'll be serving as your guys' moderator for the Draft Nerds, as well as the Big Ten analyst.
See, he's so excited, he can't even get the words out. You know what I mean? That's how we bring it in today. All right, Ben, you up?
Oh, yeah, my name is Ben Hall. I'm a sports writer for DraftKings, and I do a lot of sports betting and fantasy football stuff there. Obviously, you probably see me in Matt Spaces, but I'm a huge Ravens fan from Baltimore, huge football fan, and very big into college football as well. So be able to bring some content there as well.
Awesome.
I'm Javon Tolles on X as well. Proud to be part of Draft Nerds here. Huge football fan. I'm a youth football coach as well. I'm looking forward to diving more into the college realm and local teams in the area and to give y'all good content. So we look forward to having fun with y'all, and we thank y'all for tuning in too.
Awesome. Again, we're coming to you all season long, college football, NFL season. I'm covering the Pac-12. My boy Jay, tell him what you're covering.
I'm covering the Big Ten.
All right, and Ben, what are you covering?
Mostly East Coast, so a lot of ACC, some Big Ten, Maryland, Rutgers, and then obviously probably a couple SEC schools.
All right, Javon, who you covering?
I'm going to cover a lot of the SEC local schools in the area, kind of blend in with the Big 12, with your K-State and Kansas areas. I'm out of Kansas City, Missouri, so of course the Chiefs, and then also some local high schools around, up-and-coming players to look forward to.
Yes, sir. Ravens flock in the house. We got Chiefs Kingdom, and what y'all call yourself in Indianapolis, Jay?
We call ourselves the Colts Nation.
Colts Nation used to
For the shoe.
Used to belong in Baltimore, but we're not going to talk about that on this show. But what we will talk about, tell us what we're talking about. What we got on tap, Jay?
Well, we're going to get this thing rolling like a Mayflower truck and talk about the biggest news of the week. Let's start off with Aaron Rodgers' Achilles injury. Unfortunately, he only lasted 4 plays into this new season for the Jets, and Zach Wilson is their starter for the season for now. They're looking to get some outside help, and Coach Robert Saleh is a little bit ticked off that people are writing off the Jets, saying, I quote, "I don't know why people are trying to put an obituary on our team name." Guys, what you think about A-Rod being out for the year with the Achilles tear?
Well, it ain't ideal. I'm just gutted for that fan base, man. The energy, the excitement that team had going into the season. You know, Hard Knocks, it was the Aaron Rodgers show. And honestly, I was excited as a football fan to see what the potential of that team could have been. And now everything turns back to your number 2 overall pick. So it's like, you could try to hide from the light, but eventually the light going to shine on you, and you're going to have to ball or you're going to fall. And right now it's Zach Wilson's time, whether he wants it or not. The Jets fans if you can see on X, that they are supporting him. They're encouraging him. He has the backfield and Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook and the receivers are definitely capable. Returning offensive rookie of the year, Garrett Wilson is there. The only issue is the reason why Aaron Rodgers is out. My only problem is the only reason why Aaron Rodgers is out is because they failed to address the offensive line. That was a big question mark. They didn't draft a first-round offensive lineman. They drafted another edge rusher to make that defense even more stout than it was, and they were stout the other night. They looked good, but this is what happens when you neglect and ignore that protection up front, right? You can have the best quarterback in the world, but if you don't have nobody that can protect him, this is the result.
I ain't gonna lie. I thought for a second there, he got back up, and I was like, "Oh, this is typical A-Rod." He was like, "Look, I'm out of here. I'm getting beat up. I ain't signed up for this." But to see the replays and see that ripple effect in that calf, and you had a pretty strong idea what it was. I mean, you can't but help but feel gut wrench for them fans. I mean, I couldn't imagine. Now, I'm not even gonna speak that into the atmosphere. I couldn't imagine being a Jets fan and seeing that, and knowing how that's gonna feel, man. I couldn't.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. It's all unfortunate. It sucks for football.
Yeah, it really does. It really does.
Yeah, get ready for 6 primetime Zach Wilson games, America. We all lost.
Flex.
Oh my gosh, Wilson in prime time.
Or maybe they make a trade. Maybe they add someone. Who knows? But we'll see what happens with the Jets season. But I'll write the obituary for you, Robert Saleh, and your Jets team. Unfortunately,
we on fire tonight. We on fire. Let's go.
Moving on from a dead season to a new deal. Chris Jones is back with a new extension that will be up to $25 million. Let's start off with Javon. How are you feeling about Chris Jones getting that money? Or did he really get that money?
That's the question, right? Did he really get the money? And really, he hasn't. I mean, with the fines, and they've already said they're not waiving those fines. The only ones they could waive was the game fine, the missed check, and all that. But by the time he makes up that money, he has to reach all these incentives, which is ridiculous. The Chiefs have all the control. They can control his percentage of playing time. To get a $2 million incentive, he has to actually win the Super Bowl and Defensive Player of the Year. And last time I checked, a defensive tackle can't win the Super Bowl by himself. It's not going to happen. So, and Defensive Player of the Year, he's got to beat out Aaron Donald. Chiefs won this. I'm glad it's over with. A lot of Chiefs fans don't even want to talk about it no more. But I'm like, how could you not talk about it? He need to fire his agents yesterday and get some new agents. He won't be with the Chiefs next year, in my opinion. He'll be somewhere else. But congratulations, Chris Jones. Looking forward to seeing you in that red and gold on Sunday.
Yeah, I think Chris Jones coming back was huge for them and makes a big change for their defense. Obviously, they played fine against the Lions, but I think him being in that box, sitting near the field, seeing the guys on the field just made him want to come back even more. So after that, I mean, I think whatever the numbers were, I think probably we're going to go the Chiefs' way regardless because Jones just wanted to be back on the field. But it's good for them, and I think Kansas City Chiefs just got a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I echo what both of you guys say. I mean, that defense is a lot better with Chris Jones than they are without Chris Jones. I mean, we saw that Thursday night. He's a disruptor. He is, in my opinion, he's the second best interior defensive lineman in the league, second to Aaron Donald. And what's that mean to you? What's that worth to you as a team? The Chiefs are too good as an overall franchise, as an organization, to let something like a contract with one of your best players keep you from possibly repeating as Super Bowl champs. And so they did what they had to do. They figured it out. They got the man back on the field. And now we get to see what he does in week 2 against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And beyond just the Jets, we've also got a few other games we need to talk about from week 1. It was a lot of very low-scoring games, some really big surprising games as well. Not a whole lot of deep plays. But, of course, the big upset to start off was the Lions upsetting the Chiefs 21-20, though a lot of people are putting an asterisk. I know Javon's followers probably are as well. How you feeling about that game, Javon?
It wasn't an upset. I mean, it was the Chiefs beat themselves and lose 21-20. That's what it was. Let's be for real. I mean, a couple caught balls, and we're not talking about Chris Jones being gone and all this. We're talking about how the Chiefs looked without Chris Jones and how they still won and how they're going to repeat Super Bowl champions And shout out to Nick Wright, because I know he probably got a banner already on FS1 ready to go, because we know what's happening. So, to me, congratulations to the Detroit Lions. I'm not going to take nothing away from them, because they are a playoff team. Let's not put the disrespect on their name. They a playoff contender, and they're going to compete with the best. That team does have the talent to do it. They have the quarterback to do it, and they have the coach that no doubt can coach them to do it as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. And another big surprising game was a Browns beating the Bengals and shutting down Joe Burrow. They held him only to 82 passing yards, a career low in a 24-3 win. Ben, you're the betting expert. Do you know if anyone placed a bet for Joe Burrow to pass for 82 yards?
I think if you were to do that, I don't even think it's available, but if you were to do that, I think you'd probably be buying yourself a new car, maybe a new house right now. No, but that game was ugly because the Browns offense didn't play well themselves. It was a complete Browns defensive win. Deshaun Watson looked like trash. But Joe Burrow looked even worse. Deshaun Watson got the win. The Browns were able to get the win. And I think in this one, the Browns showed that their defense is the best in the AFC North right now. I don't think you can argue that to this point. What they did against the Bengals offense, to me, was pretty incredible. But yeah, like you said, taking Joe Burrow to throw under 100 yards, let alone under 86 or 85, whatever it was at, it's bizarre. You probably could be getting yourself a new car, a new house right now.
Yeah.
Hey, how funny would it have been if one of the Browns players pulled a Kelsey and told Jamar Chase to know your role and shut your mouth? Y'all 1-5 again, 1-6 now against the Browns. Like, calling them the elf man, you know, all this stuff. Oh man, I enjoyed every bit of that.
Okay, if you're gonna talk it, you better walk it.
And speaking of talking and walking, we know New York fans love to talk, and I'm sure some Giants fans love to talk some trash to the Cowboys, but they weren't after Monday Night Football. Matt, take us through what was the big blowout of the week.
Man, 40, you lose by 40 at home. I mean, Giants fans just, you know, can we start a petition to have the Giants removed from the NFL? You know, like, let's just put them in the SEC somewhere. You know what I mean? 40-0. You got to come back to the next home game with a paper bag over your face, right? That's embarrassing. Now, let me just, get serious here for a second. The Giants came into this game, to this season, with so much excitement, so much. They wanted to build on what they went through last year, right? They were a playoff team who won a playoff game on the road, I might add, against the Minnesota Vikings. And then you go out and you trade for Isaiah Simmons, and you draft Jalen Hyatt, and you add all these different pieces in the offseason, and you have a stinker like that against a divisional opponent in week 1 at home. I mean, you're at home in New York City. The crowd is buzzing. I mean, and you can't even get a field goal. I mean, I think it's just terrible. The Giants fans don't deserve that. I just hope that the Giants as a team can find their pride somewhere. Maybe they left it in the locker room before they came on the field, and come out there and have a better showing in week 2, because that was embarrassing. And they took some time out of my life I can't get back. So that was really bad. I did have Tony Pollard on my fantasy team and Dak Prescott, even though Dak didn't even have a good game. He didn't need to. It was crazy. Here's how crazy from a fantasy perspective. So 2 of my friends are in my fantasy league. One of them was losing. Her quarterback had 3 points. Her receiver had like 5 points. She still won the game because the Cowboys defense put up a grand total of 45 points in fantasy. I mean, in today's NFL, I didn't even know that was possible. So, Giants, you got to come back better next week.
Oof, 40.
You're not gonna tell me how you was relying on Dak Prescott to beat me in week 1 of the fantasy league, man?
I don't even want to talk about it. Go to the next topic.
All right, on to the next one. we got the 3 biggest college games. Guys, take us through what are the games that we as NFL fans and college fans need to watch going into this week. I mean, it's going to be week 3. I feel like there's a few prime headlines going on and games to watch.
Oh, yeah, man. Prime time. Y'all see it. Mr. Deion Sanders, prime time, man. He got Colorado, man. See you. You know what I mean? Look, man. Skull Buffs. People didn't believe, but, as the T-shirt slogan that Deion made famous says, I believe. I was with this man from the time he got drafted to the Atlanta Falcons, and he told the Detroit Lions they would have to put him on layaway in order. He would ask for so much money they had to put him on layaway. So the man has always talked the talk, but he's also walked the walk. And I'm not really understanding I don't really understand why he's been doubted at every turn, but yet he proves at every turn that not only is he successful, but everything that he touches turns to gold. And eventually people will stop hating and they will start believing. But Jackson State, I mean, he goes to that team, he goes to that school, and he turns it around. They have an undefeated season last year. They lose in the national title game for college for HBCU. And he recruited and got the number 1 player in the country 2 years ago to commit to Jackson State, which you would have never seen that. And then in 1 year, he turned 85 new players go to Colorado, and he flips the roster completely. A team that won 1 game last year is already 2-0 and is about to go 3-0 against Colorado State. So shout out to Coach Prime, man. I believe we ride with you, and we ain't coming no more. We here.
Yeah, there are a few games to watch for that I like, at least. I'll just name 3: South Carolina at Georgia, Washington at Michigan State, and then Tennessee at Florida. South Carolina, Georgia is the most excited I am. I'm not a huge South Carolina guy. I don't like their fans. However, this is a big test for them. They're like 28-point underdogs, and Georgia is going to get their toughest test of the season. South Carolina had high expectations coming into the season and then played god-awful against UNC to start the year. So that one's one to watch for a little bit. I think Georgia should win handily, but South Carolina could give them a run for their money. Washington, Michigan State. It's a tough game just because Michigan State's dealing with a lot with Mel Tucker and everything he has going on. If you can look into those details on the news. But Washington has so many guys who are projected to go in the top 2 rounds of the NFL draft. And this is the best team they've probably had since they made the college football playoff a few years ago. They're playing another Power 5 opponent outside the Pac-12 in this one. So it'll be pretty fun to watch that matchup. And then Tennessee, Florida at Florida. Florida was embarrassing against Utah to start the season, but I think they could give Tennessee fans a little bit of a nail biter in this one. I think Florida is at home, so that obviously plays a big factor. Obviously, the Florida home scenery is pretty different there, so I think that could be a good game, and it would not surprise me to see Florida pull off an upset or at least give Tennessee a nail biter win in that one.
Yeah, I'm definitely. There's no way in the world you're not looking at Colorado State. I mean, Colorado could play Harvard this weekend, and you're watching Colorado play football. It's the prime effect. I'm about to hit up.
It'll be on primetime television.
Hey, man, I got to see if I got some years of eligibility left. I'm about to suit up, bro. I'm gonna be a walk-on or something. Like, you want to play for prime, so you want to see if the success continues. You want to see if they're going to keep trending in the right direction. Went from unranked to ranked 18th in the nation in 2 weeks. I mean, that's must-see TV there. Other games I'm looking forward to, though, I'm looking forward to seeing if Duke can stay at the level of play they're at. They had a big win in week 1 against Clemson, and so just looking to see if they can maintain it. They play Northwestern. I think that will be kind of a test for them. Northwestern, they always field a good football team that will play you tough. I'm also looking at LSU and Mississippi State just because that SEC matchup, SEC teams always typically play each other pretty well, and LSU Mississippi State has been known to be a good game. And then They always say SEC is the powerhouse of the college football scene, but you got Mizzou and Kansas State. It's not quite Mizzou and Kansas, but it's still cross-state rivals with Mizzou and K-State. So you got SEC, Big 12. That should be a fun matchup. Definitely have the locals here in Missouri and Kansas ready to go for that one. So looking forward to see how that turns out.
Yes, sir.
All right, that was our college game look ahead, but also we got to look ahead to some NFL games, starting off with Thursday night football, Vikings versus Eagles. It's going to be in Philly. And of course, that's going to be the game where you're guaranteed going to hear from the announcers, oh yeah, did you hear that Jalen Reagor was taken by the Eagles one pick before Justin Jefferson to the Vikings? I feel like we're going to hear that a few times, but let's get into it. Who you guys got for Eagles versus Vikings on Thursday night football?
Let me take this one. Let me start it off. I'm going with Eagles. Look, man, my heart says Vikings, but my mind says Eagles. My heart just refuses to make me believe or let me believe that the Vikings are going to go 0-2. They're just too talented, man. Justin Jefferson still showed that he's him. The rookie Jordan Addison made some plays last week and looked like he got some promise, and I already knew he did. I mean, the kid's been a baller at Pitt, at USC, and now he's in Minnesota. He just makes plays. Doesn't matter the uniform. And then Alexander Madison, he still, he can tote the rock. He can move the ball. The issue with the Vikings, though, with me is the defense. That's why my mind is saying Eagles because, Baker was out there feeling dangerous last week. And, when your defense is making Baker feel dangerous, that doesn't bode well for you. And then you're having to go into Philly against that in that hostile environment, against that team with A.J. Brown on one side, Devontae Smith on the other side. And, and just you got the backfield now and all the weapons and that they can throw at you. They got that tight end Goddard. Good luck. So I'm gonna go Philly on this one. I say Philly 28-21. I think it'll be close. I think we'll get some fireworks. Justin Jefferson have a good game, but I just think in the end the Eagles just hit too much.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the upset. I'm gonna go Vikings 31-28. I think Minnesota shocks every football fan. I think they need this win more than Philadelphia does. And I just think, I don't know. It's a tough pick. I think Philadelphia still trying to figure some things out offensively. Not many people expected them to be. Obviously, every team is, but I think Minnesota is going to have to figure things out quicker. I think they do, and I think they pull off the upset here.
Man, the Vikings defense, man, they're a question mark. The Vikings have been known to step up in big games. You look at them last year when they played Buffalo. Crazy game. They were able to pull out the win. But it wasn't because of their defense. It was because the offense was able to hang. But then you look at the primetime record for Kirk Cousins, and it's like, Netflix or not, man. You may be likable on TV, but I don't like you in primetime. So it's like, that's going to be hard to pick against the Eagles in this one. But I do think it's close. I'm thinking it's maybe a 3-point game, 34-31 Philadelphia. But in the end, hey, Kirk Cousins just can't finish in primetime.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Javon. I am not a believer in Kirk Cousins in primetime. I think you guys remember seeing that clip this past week of Geno Smith freaking out because Aaron Donald was barreling down at him right in the middle. Just going, well, that's going to be, knowing the Vikings guards, that's going to be Kirk Cousins. He's going to be like, I don't like that, because of Jalen Carter, who was dominant as a rookie in his debut. I think it's going to be a really long night for Kirk, but I think they'll still be able to score some points towards the end. I'm going to say it's going to be 34-24, but I'm taking the Eagles on this one. And past that one, of course, we got to talk about the Rookie Bowl. Number 2 overall pick, CJ Stroud, going up against number 4 overall pick of my Indianapolis Colts, Anthony Richardson. I'm going to let you guys start off before I weigh in my completely unbiased opinion, but you guys take it away right now.
Texans are at home. I mean, I'm telling you, at home opener is the only reason why I take Houston in this game. And because I believe Richardson is the better quarterback. I think Richardson has the most upside. I think he's already proven in week 1 that he's the better quarterback and that he will take advantage of the opportunity given to him. I've liked him even before the draft. I mean, he was probably the biggest standout in the draft. There's always that one that nobody talks about, and then all of a sudden the combine hits, he opens eyes, and you want to know where he's getting drafted to, seeing if he's going to have the right pieces around him. So the Colts definitely have their quarterback of the future. But will they beat the Texans in their home opener at home with C.J. Stroud? No. The Texans will win this game.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think Houston gets the job done. I like both quarterbacks. Stroud was my number 1 quarterback coming out of the NFL draft, and Richardson was up there as my number 2. I think Richardson has a much higher upside, but I think right now at this moment, Stroud's a better quarterback. Showed that against Baltimore to me, and really impressed me with poise in a big environment at M&T. But I think this being a home game for Houston, everybody shows out for DeMeco Ryans, who's a great head coach, in my opinion. Just through one game, I've seen enough. So I'm going to go with Houston to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you guys. After what C.J. Stroud did against the Ravens, I mean, he got knocked down, got back up, got knocked down again, got knocked, back up. He threw some really accurate passes. Honestly, I mean, if he had a better supporting cast, they probably would have given my Ravens a real scare. But I think the Texans have a better team overall, better running game, obviously, because Jonathan Taylor's not playing. I think I would give the nod to the Colts with the receivers only because of Pittman. But I do like the tight end that the Texans has and Schultz. And then also I think the Texans defense is slightly better as well. So I'm gonna go with CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans, and I think they win by 3.
Yeah, I'm going to go in my completely unbiased opinion for the Colts. Javon talked about the home advantage for the Texans. I just want to point out the Texans haven't won in Houston versus the Colts since 2016. So that home advantage is non-existent when the Colts come to town, I got to say. But yeah, we've been doing that since 2016, and Andrew Luck only played in 2016 and 2018. Like, we've been beating them with a lot of random guys at quarterback. But anyways, I'm taking Anthony Richardson. I was very impressed by him in week 1. I thought they have a great run defense to stop the Texans' run game and make them one-dimensional. The Texans also got a very long injury list. Laramie Tunsil is a DNP right now on Wednesday, and they got 2 other offensive linemen who are injured. Both their starting safeties are out, and if both of them are out, I'm pretty sure Anthony Richardson is going to have his first 20-plus yard throw of the season, which, if you guys didn't know, he was at his best throwing deep in college. He was dinking and dunking last week, and he still looked pretty darn good, being the rookie leader in yards and total touchdowns and completion percentage amongst all rookie quarterbacks. So I'm going to take Anthony Richardson on this one, and the Colts. I'll see how, if I'm the lone wolf, I'll see if I am going to be able to have bragging rights, or if I'll just, shut up next week. We'll see. I'm just going to sit here until then. But in the meantime, we also got another divisional battle to talk about. AFC North Divisional Week, Ravens versus Bengals. Who you guys got?
Ben?
I'm gonna go. I hate to do this. I'm a diehard Ravens fan, one of the biggest you'll ever meet. Bengals 28, Ravens 24. I just don't like the Bengals coming off of a atrocious loss week 1 and then returning home to a fan base who absolutely hates Baltimore. I think it's mutual. The hate's mutual. I know, especially for me. Cincinnati talks a lot, and they're really not used to winning, in my opinion. I think the defense for the Ravens is a question mark for me. Roquan obviously always shows up to play against Cincinnati and will make plays. But if Marlon's actually out, like it looks like he might be now that he's missed practice today, I don't know how we stop Jamar Chase. Tyler Boyd is the 3. T. Higgins. I think we have our hands full. Obviously, the Ravens have a chance any week that 8 is playing quarterback, but it's just tough with all the injuries. You lose your 2 most important and best offensive linemen at that. And then also Marcus Williams, who's a game changer in Burrow, now has an easier chance to look where Williams is not. So I'm going to go Bengals to pull off the upset. I'll be the happiest man in the world if the Ravens can do it, but or Bengals just to pull off the win because it'll be an upset for the Ravens. So I'm going to go Bengals 28, Ravens 24, unfortunately. But I'd love to be wrong.
Well, listen. I'm going with the flock, man. Listen, before the season, we did our predictions and schedule, and this is actually one of those I thought the Ravens would lose. And again, it is an uphill battle. I mean, you're missing 2 of your most important pieces on the offensive line, the center and the left tackle. You're missing your starting free safety and starting running back, although the running back doesn't bother me that much. Heal up JK, get healthy soon, man. Great guy. JK is a really, really good guy, man. He doesn't deserve that. But it's just the way it goes, man, in the NFL. But the reason why I think the Ravens can win this game is because I believe that when Lamar Jackson plays, when they play the Bengals, Ravens actually have a winning record against the Bengals. And the times that they've been able to take advantage of the Ravens, Lamar has only been on the field, I think, once. And our secondary, yes, it's bruised, it's injured, but it's not broken, right? We still have Kyle Hamilton back there. I do believe in Geno Stone. He's played a lot of ball over the last couple of years, and he showed himself well. I do like what Darby did last week, and I think a mixture of Brandon Stevens and Rocky Sin, Darius Washington. I think those guys will be able to, get in there. They won't shut down those receivers, but they will cause some frustration. I think our edge rushers with Clowney, Ojabo, and Owe could put some pressure on Burrow, who's not the mobilest quarterback at this moment because of that knee injury. And so look for OBJ to get on the scoreboard this week. I'm actually going to call it. OBJ scores 2 touchdowns this week. I think Zay Flowers has another good game. And also don't underestimate the fact that Mark Andrews is now back. So he is going to draw that coverage in the middle of the field, which will allow those receivers to have even easier time than they did last week. So I'm going to go Ravens 21, Bengals 17. I think the Bengals do score, obviously, but I think they find it tough sledding again, 2 weeks in a row. Trust and believe the Ravens are looking at that film with the Browns there, and they're going to be trying to emulate what they did.
There's a saying they say, he needs some milk. Them cats, boy, they love milk, and they need some milk right now after last week. Look, I'm going to buy me some Dixon chili because I'm going to support them because they need all the support they can get, but the Ravens is winning this game. The biggest problem the Bengals have is on that O-line. Let's be fair. I mean, Orlando Brown, like I told y'all, yeah, he helped the Chiefs. He did what he did, but I never really liked him. His footwork is horrible. And in order for Jamar Chase to get down the field, in order for T. Higgins to get down the field, in order for Tyler Boyd to get down the field to make any type of impact, Burrow needs time. And he had no time. I mean, Brown was getting ate up left and right on Sunday, and you're going to see it again. The Ravens have one of the best fronts in the league. They are going to be on Burrow's tail all day long. And that's why I have the Ravens winning this 27-24. I mean, even if you look back last year with Hundley, the Ravens took the Bengals down to the last minute. And really, if Hundley don't fumble that football, they probably win the game. I mean, that's a backup quarterback. And now we got Lamar back in action. Ravens is taking this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Bengals just because I got a lot of questions for that Ravens secondary right now with how banged up it is. And I do believe in, of course, the Bengals wide receiver core to take advantage, even if they were healthy. But it would have been a much better competition, especially the big question is Marlon Humphreys playing? Because if he's not playing, Jamar Chase could eat it in short, long, or intermediate. It's going to be interesting to watch. Plus, I got a good solid bet that Joe Burrow is going to either triple or quadruple his passing yardage from last week. I don't normally see that from week to week. I think he's going to do it this week.
Triple
It's definitely going to be at least triple, in my opinion. Maybe even double if I'm like being, a little less bullish, but probably triple. But anyways, I'm taking the Bengals. I think it's going to be close. It's going to be gritty. It's going to be nasty to watch because AFC North battles are just so brutal. Kids do not watch it without parental supervision. It is not rated G. So I'm going to take Bengals 27, Ravens 24. It's going to be close. We'll see what happens.
Yes,
and then after that one, we got Ben's big bets. Ben, let us know what you want our watchers to be betting on.
Yeah, so I'm going to run through a few picks. The props are not out yet at this point, so I'll give you a few ideas to what to look for. But for a few picks, start with Bears +3 and money line. Bears will be better than what they are. I still believe in them. A lot of people are writing them off after that. And they're playing the Buccaneers, who I think had a little bit of a shocking win against the Vikings. I think all that hype falls down this week, and the Bears are able to get the job done against Tampa Bay. Seattle +6 against the Lions. I think Seattle is another team that kind of shocked you with how bad they played in week 1, but they figure things out. The Lions are really good, but they got lucky in the Kansas City game. I think they still win this game, but it's by a late field goal. And I think Seattle's secondary will hold Jared Goff a little bit better in the second half of this game and force their offense to have to kind of run the ball a little bit like they did with their Montgomery. And maybe will they get Gibbs more involved? It'll be interesting to see. But I think they win this on a game-winning field goal, and Seattle covers. And then my last big pick, Giants -5.5, I think it is, or it might be 6 to the Cardinals. The Giants, like Matt said earlier, were awful, but they're a better team than what they showed. I think they have weapons. I'm hoping Waller's active, and I think the Cardinals are still the worst team in the NFL. They're going to play for number 1 pick, and they're going to get Caleb Williams, and they might be able to turn things around. Now, jumping to a few quick props. If Marlon Humphrey is out, if you're watching this, wait till 12 or whenever the injury report goes out. Take Jamar Chase yards. That's terrifying. It's not a good thing to even look back at. If you watch Jamar Chase's highlights against the Ravens, I really like the Ravens, you know that. But with Marlon Humphrey out, I think Chase is going to eat. And then A.J. Dillon, anytime touchdown scorer, because what's his name could be out, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones suffered a hamstring injury, and I think they're going to sit him a few weeks. A.J. Dillon's the number 1 running back, and you probably could get him to score a touchdown at -120 or -130, which is a steal for a RB1 for a team that will score 2 to 3 touchdowns in that game. And then lastly, I'm not sure what Mahomes' passing yards is going to be at, but I would take Mahomes over passing yards. I think he's out to prove people wrong, show why he's QB1 in the NFL and could be the GOAT when it's all said and done. And Tua Tagovailoa, take a look at his under against New England on Sunday Night Football. Bill Belichick's defenses are always great. It's going to be cold, late game, might rain. It'll be interesting to see what happens in New England that night. But I think Tua goes under that passing yards after he just put up 400+ in week 1.
All right. And those are Ben's bets. I think we got some good ones for the listeners. Hopefully they can get some good money from those. If so, maybe spend a little bit of that money on our upcoming merch store that we got coming out at some point for the Draft Nerds. We got that slick looking logo that you can see right over here or in the background of Matt over there. So might be putting down some merch. So might be interested in dropping some of your betting winnings on that. But anyways, that's going to be it for our show today. Thank you guys for watching for the Draft Nerds first show. We're going to be talking about college football, NFL football, NFL draft coverage as well throughout the offseason and during the season. Guys, it's been great, and
Yeah.
hope you guys have a wonderful one.
Yeah,
Peace.
absolutely. Peace.
Yes,
Peace.
sir.
It's the Draft Nerds.